Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to the Colonelcast. On today's episode, we cover Terminator Genisys, the fifth Terminator movie. No, it's not a new one. I feel like everyone's forgotten about this one entirely. But with me is Erich McCoy.
Yeah, every couple of years, a new Terminator movie comes out, and it completely wipes the previous one from the timeline. That's just the way of the world.
Not just the timeline, but like from memory. Like I feel like out of all of them, this is the one that's probably least talked about.
I mean, do people talk about Terminator Salvation in a way more than just talking about
I guess so.
Christian Bale blowing up at that light sky?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess no one talks about 3 either. You know, maybe that's just how it is.
Everything after 2.
Yeah, I still see mentions of Dark Fate occasionally, but that's, you know, just with derision. But yeah, so this film, it's about, it's Terminator, right? It's about Kyle Reese. He goes back, he does his thing, like he does the Kyle Reese thing, and then he tries to save Sarah Connor, but the twist is Sarah is new, or she's young, she's crazy, she's been got by the Terminator early, or whatever happens in this movie.
Yeah, they send the time. So wait, when would they have sent the Terminator back? Was it like 10 years before the original one? Or
I think so. I don't know how old she's meant to be in the first movie. I don't know. Yeah, he raised her because she was
like 1920, right?
I think so. Yeah. So it would have been like 10 years before, and she was. She said that he came when she was 9. So.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's I don't know. It's a weird kind of setup because there's like the good Terminator. It's Arnold. You got to have Arnold, and he's got to be a good guy because it's after T2. And the big twist, the big grand twist is that John Connor from the future gets sent back and he's a Terminator now when he goes to fight them.
So at this point, all we need is for Sarah Connor to be a Terminator, and then everyone has taken their turn being a Terminator.
Does that happen in Sarah Connor Chronicles or something? I'm sure they've done that somewhere.
I have no idea.
I'm so certain they've done it somewhere, but yeah.
I started watching Sarah Connor Chronicles, and then the very generic TV show from that era-ness of it really took it down for me.
Yeah, it's hard to go back to old shows, especially. I
hear that it gets better as it goes along, and I hear that the ideas it plays within the Terminator franchise are really good, but I don't know. I just can't be bothered with.
Who knows? People who've seen it say it's the best. It's the best thing, the third best after those first 2 movies. But I mean, I'll never know, I guess. So
yeah.
I don't know.
So, do you like the Terminator movies? Are you a fan of them? Oh, is there a good background with them that you're yeah, let's check out this weird, I've 2015 one?
I've seen all of them except for Salvation. I mean, first 2, of course, are very good. I haven't seen the first one in a while. I rewatched 2 a little bit ago. I
was gonna say the big question is Terminator 1 or Terminator 2 better?
Probably 2. It's sort of reverse. I mean, for Alien, I really like the first one a lot more, but for Terminator, it seems like the second one just builds upon all the stuff that I really like from the first one as well. Anyway, so I don't know. What about you?
See, because I don't really like the John Connor character in the second one, the annoying kid. Is it Edward Furlong? Is that his name?
Yeah.
He just really pisses me off. I know that's kind of the point. Is he's supposed to be an edgy teen kid, and that's kind of the point, but I just don't like seeing it, so that really pulls the movie down for me. And I love the first one just because of the sci-fi ideas within it, and then I think the performances in that movie feel really raw and really tapped into. Michael Biehn plays Calories in that, and he is just so, he is a raw nerve. He just feels like somebody from the future who's been sent back and has lived in war his entire life, and now he kind of doesn't know what his reality is. He just knows that he has to protect Sarah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember his performance and now just how strong it is with that. Yeah, but it's I don't know. I just really I like the liquid metal Terminator. I like like all the some of the family dynamics and stuff that they get up to in the second one. That's fun. Mm-hmm. There's a lot to like in both of them, though. They're both, of course, they're classic movies and stuff. But
I know that people love Arnold Schwarzenegger, so like when you bring him back, it's like you want him to be the good guy rather than the bad guy.
Yeah.
I just think he works so much better as a villainous figure that's stalking people than he does as the goofy grinning. He's really goofy in this Genisys one we watched,
especially this one, and 3 and stuff.
Yeah,
pretty much all the others.
He definitely has more of the cool factor in 2, but even then, I don't like the stuff where it's like he does the big thumbs up at the very end of the movie as he's sinking into lava, and I'm just like, come on, guys.
It's pretty schmaltzy, yeah, but you know, that's what they're doing, I guess. It is pretty silly.
That's just the wavelength James Cameron operates on, and like,
yeah,
audiences love that. Like, I really can't.
Oh yeah, it's made
knock that as the thing that people love. So
yeah, that's like what, it's like $5 billion between just Titanic and those Avatar movies or something now. It's
right.
Yeah, but yeah, it is. I guess it is a very different tone from, you know, Terminator 1 especially, but. Yeah, I don't know. It's I think it's a good balance, at least in that one. There's I think the weight of everything is still there. I think Linda Hamilton especially like really carries that one, and that's
Linda Hamilton is great.
That's something that's really missing from this one. I felt like the weight of everything. Missing. Yeah, like you don't feel like the world's at stake because no one seems to care very much. They have like,
and also they almost immediately go into like an alternate timeline bullshit, so it's like you really don't know what you're fighting for. Are you fighting to save that original timeline? Are you fighting to make the new timeline they've entered like better? Like it just abstracts everything to a certain extent where I'm just like, is the future where Kyle Reese is growing up and is trying to stop Genisys, is that what they want to end up in?
I don't know, but like it's weird because this one, it's sort of, despite setting up 1 billion sequels, right? It's sort of self-contained. Like they do get rid of Genisys like, at the end, and he's just kind of
fix everything by the end of it. Yeah,
and he has like his he teaches himself the no Genisys mantra at the end of the movie, right? But then
so fucking stupid. It's so stupid that the entire movie is premised on just one kid remembering one thing throughout his entire childhood, and the big character arc conclusion for Kyle Reese, his old version, is to tell his young version, this is what you have to say every single day. Oh my god.
Yeah, but I don't know how that even makes sense, because that doesn't, well, I mean, it's a normal time travel issue, I guess, but that doesn't work because the future is good now. There's no more Genisys, right? So like he's never gonna have heard that and then use that information to go back and get rid of it or whatever. So I don't know. I guess that's the same sort of paradox as all these things run into, and you kind of just have to ignore it. But
right.
Yeah, it's I think there are some good qualities though with this one. I think this might actually be my third favorite, which there's
wow. So you've seen Dark Fate, you don't like Dark Fate that much.
Dark Fate, I don't remember. I remember just being miserable in the theater. I don't even remember what happened very much in that. Yeah,
I dislike that one just for the fact that it files off the Skynet name and the like Terminator name and then just like replaces it with something else. Like it's like instead of Sarah Connor, it's this Mexican woman. Instead of Skynet, it's Rev 9 or some other bullshit. And it's just like, you are doing the laziest possible thing to make this happen. And it also starts with Arnold killing John Connor. Like the very beginning.
I remember that scene looked cool. Like it was neat that they all look like they're in the 90s or whatever, but yeah, that's
cool. The movie starts with blasting away a kid.
that's true. You can't say that about a whole lot of stuff, so
no, definitely not.
But yeah, it's just because I feel like Genisys, if as bad as it is, I think it's at least more fun than Dark Fate. It's got, it's better than 3. I feel like most things are better than 3 just from what little I remember of that one. That just seemed like a big dumpster fire.
I really like 3's ending, but I can't really get behind the rest of it. I just love we literally cannot stop the rise of the machines. Like the end of that movie is like, it's going to happen. We did not do anything to circumvent it. Like, because the end of the second one, you could kind of think, oh yeah, we did all the things necessary to stop this terrible dark future.
Yeah.
And then in Terminator 3, they're kind of like, well, shit.
That's the whole idea with the second one, right? Is that it's no fate but what you make. You can choose to change the future as much as you want to. You have the power, you in the movie theater, to go out and change the world for the better, But it's I mean, pretty much every sequel kind of has to undercut that, just by its nature,
right. In order to continue the story.
Yeah, for there to still be bad Terminator based things going on. It's,
seeing as they've given it 4 swings, they've done 4 at bats on a sequel. I just don't think they should keep trying. Like,
they will eventually
for a good 20-30 years, or like, although they did do a Netflix thing. I haven't checked out the Netflix thing they did.
Yeah, that might just be the direction to go, is do like completely disconnected stories that don't have to do with like Arnold or like, Sarah Connor, with any of these things anymore. Just to expand it outward,
I had a take, and it's probably a pretty hot take, is that there's not enough going on with the Terminator series to make so many sequels to the second one. Like, to just like keep going and going and going. There's just not enough parts of it that, like, okay, so most of them end up being chase movies. Most of them end up being a new version of the Terminator trying to hunt down either Sarah Connor stand-in, or John Connor. Like, basically any of the Connors are being chased. And I know that there's a lot of like movie series that kind of just iterate on that endlessly, but like, it's just a cool sci-fi premise, and then the characters, there's really not much to do beyond what's already been done. I just don't know how you continue that in an interesting way.
And there's also just literally like 3 characters holding this whole series together.
Yeah,
and always
exactly.
have been.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess the robots, but they're not really characters most of the time. They're like,
they're more like action figures that are chasing. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's really just, it's Kyle Reese, it's Sarah, and it's John Connor, and it's like
John Connor.
Yeah, and between all these movies, we see all of them at like any point between like 10 years old and 60 years old. All of these characters, they've looked at every point of their life across multiple like timelines and universes, and it's like like at some point you gotta call it quits with them.
And it's like basically just you send a Terminator back to an earlier point in their life to try to kill them, and then the good guys send another Terminator back to like counteract that. It's just like you can't do that so many times before it just becomes like, why are we still doing this?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna keep doing that, why not go all the way with it? Have Back to the Future 3 where they go back to the Old West and they're dealing with fucking old Jebediah Connor or whatever, and he has to get the whole town together to get rid of the Terminator. Why not? Just they'll never do that. It's always got to be set in the 80s. It's just whenever the movie came out, and also whenever the first movie came out. That's what all these series do. They ping pong between those times, and that's it.
Yeah, so that's to me why like you can endlessly reconfigure a lot of these elements, but since there's so few elements to reconfigure, it's kind of just like they've now done it 4 times and they've kind of run out of steam to do it with. But do you want to talk about Genisys in particular? So like John Connor is where this movie starts, right? Because like the way that the first movie starts, the future war that John Connor is raging against machines. You've got the purple lasers. You've got the like different kinds of war Terminators that they're fighting and stuff like that. You've got the regular Terminators, the like bare metal skin versions of them. Like, it's hard to make a future war like this seem gritty when they're firing purple lasers, and I just don't think this opening sequence has much war grit to it. It feels very plasticky and very just, and maybe it's because I watched it on a 1-2-3 movies stream. I did see this movie in theaters, so I vaguely remember feeling the same way, but I don't think it opens in the most promising way.
It's not gritty really, but I think it's fun. There's not a lot of substance behind it, but I think it's cool to see. It's perpetually nighttime like it is in the intros to the other movies. It kind of feels like an apology for like Salvation, because a lot of people don't like that Salvation's that's
a lot more gritty, a lot more like
it's like a Mad Max desert situation or something. I haven't seen it, but it's very daytime heavy and stuff.
It's very gray, very brown. Yeah.
So this feels like this is a glimpse of the future war movie that you wanted, the one where it just looks like that bit that was cool from the first one, but it's a whole movie. But yeah, there's a lot of weird bits in that though. Like there's the Terminators are like driving trucks around, and they've got like a concentration camps for people, which that's like a cool visual, right? That's like, oh, it's a nice World War II homage, but it's cyberpunky. But it's like the whole point of a concentration camp is that you don't want to like murder people in the street, and you want to like keep track of who you're murdering, right? So like, but the Terminators can just do that because they're like a robot with like, you know, they can track everyone in their heads and stuff. So like, I just don't understand why that's there. Like,
I kind of don't know what are Skynet trying to do. They're trying to like take over the world.
I guess they're just trying to kill everyone.
If they were, you don't think they'd have like human concentration camps. You just kill them all.
Right? Yeah, they're not like bothered by leaving these bodies in the streets and whatever. You know, we've got skulls all over everywhere. So
yeah, you just roll over them until they're smushed into the ground.
Yeah, I don't get it. But that's, I mean, you know, that's just, it's a cool visual, so we gotta put it in there. Mm-hmm. And I think that governs a whole lot of the movie. A whole lot of choices in this are because it would be cool to see, especially like I mean, I think it is cool to see, like, even just the whole first act of this is, oh my god, I'm getting notifications, but there's the whole like first act of this is like a recreation of all the greatest hits from like T1 and 2. Including all like the recreated scenes and stuff. I thought some of them were really close as well. Like it looks very 80s. They captured all of that very well.
The very beginning is very close. Like when Arnie is first landing in wherever he lands, I don't know.
Yeah,
California maybe.
There's the guy doing with the dump truck or whatever he's got, you know. And that's all. I mean, that's recreated shots. Yeah. Right, but it looks really close in the same way. Like the only other movie I've seen do that accurately is like Halloween Kills when they go back to to the 70s.
Oh, did they? Oh, damn.
Yeah, for a minute in that. It's not. That's also not like a good movie, but it's kind of neat to see them manage to capture the 70s like filmmaking pretty well. But yeah, and it's.
So,
I mean,
so like, I think as soon as older Arnie enters into that scene, and you get like shots of a very CGI young Arnold fighting him, I think that's when it starts to fall apart for me. Is like they can't pay as much attention to the fine detail of making sure that he looks like his younger self when he's fighting the older self. So I think a lot of the like effects there kind of fall down.
You know, I mean, I know in my heart that's like a stupid thing, right? But it's just it's to some degree it's just so cool to see Arnold come in. He comes in and and they're fighting and stuff, you know, and then Sarah fucking like shoots him in the heart. Like he gets him in the power cell or whatever and stuff, and he shuts down. Like that's fun, you know. And then the fucking T-1000 chasing Kyle Reese around in the
Korean
shopping
Terminator.
Center. Yeah, he's a cop again because he's got to be a cop because he was in T2.
Right.
But he doesn't. I thought it was weird. He doesn't use like the infiltration thing at all. Like the fact that because Kyle gets like arrested mid-scene in that, right? But then the T-1000, it just comes out and it's still the cop, but it just like murders the other cops. Like it doesn't even bother trying to keep up the pretense to get him in a better position.
You think it could? You think it could very quickly like get Kyle in his car and then drive him wherever it wants him to be.
Yeah, drive him wherever. Get rid of the body.
Suffers from we need an action sequence every couple of minutes. So.
Yeah, well, you know, it has to keep going, and we've got to, you know, it doesn't work if he gets picked up by the cop car, because we've already written this great scene where Sarah runs into that Terminator and says, "Come with me if you want to live."
Come with me if I want to live. Yeah.
So that's like, it's necessary, you know. It's important for the plot.
Yeah. So by the time Sarah is into this, it's when I really start being like, oh, this is seriously bad now. Because so I do not buy Jai Courtney as Kyle Reese. I just do not. I think he's like almost the exact opposite of the kind of energy that Michael Biehn brings to the role. He just doesn't capture anything that I like about the character. And then when Emilia Clarke shows up, she's also she's just too small to like, I don't know, like she just does not command the screen presence like Linda Hamilton does. And
there's like a softness to them. Neither of them seem like they're like battle hardened from decades or like for Kyle, like a whole lifetime of this, you know? So
right. They just seem like Hollywood people, and like she's British and the accent does not work sometimes. And it's just
I didn't notice that at least, but yeah,
there were definitely things she was saying where it's just like I don't buy this.
Okay.
And so like when your two principal main characters cannot command like attention on screen, fulfill their characters, like just don't get across what I want from characters that I know and like and appreciate, and then like the stuff they're doing as well is not super interesting to me.
Yeah,
my attention almost trails off immediately. It's pretty rough.
You know, honestly, even then, and it really is just stuff from the old movies that I like from this one, I guess. But it's you know, even then when they're getting chased by the T-1000 still, you know, in their ambulance or whatever it is, and he does the thing where he forms through the broken windshield and stuff, and he's like standing on the car. It's the same bit that they have in the Dark Fate at one point, but they do it here first. Okay. Oh, do they? Yeah. I don't even remember if they do that in 2. I guess they probably would, but I don't know. But yeah, it's and they take him and they get rid of he brings back like the young Arnold Terminator, you know, with his liquid metal thing, and they have a bit that's just like the end of T1, and then they melt it in acid and stuff. They melt the T-1000, and that's all. It's all great, you know. It's just fun Terminator bullshit.
What you're saying is you like being reminded of the good movies from the past.
I love being reminded. It feels good to see them.
You can just watch those movies.
Yeah, but this is another 20 minutes or so of the same action though. It's like a it's like a very high production fan film or something.
Yeah. I do want to call out Alan Taylor here, who's the director of this movie. He is a HBO stalwart. He like has directed so many great episodes of television, from like Game of Thrones and Boardwalk Empire. I'm sure he's directed Sopranos and stuff like that. So like, he's just a great director, and I feel like he's just completely out of his element here. The action here isn't bad, but it's not like inspiring to me. It's not like interesting.
I don't know. I mean, I looked him up a bit, and I saw this was the middle movie he did between Many Saints of Newark and Thor: The Dark World, which is like that's a triple whammy. That's no good at all.
That's a really rough career.
Yeah. And I did read. He was very beaten down by this. He said he lost the will to make movies and to live as a director at one point because of this movie. It's just like, Jesus Christ. But
I really feel for him. It just feels like he cannot catch a break.
Yeah. It sounds like the production was really rough on this all around. There's apparently the crew on the Fantastic Four had jackets that said, "At least we're not on Terminator" at one point. Which it's like, and they're working on fucking Fan 4 stick over there, right? Like that's that one.
Yeah.
So just how bad was it on this set? Like,
yeah, it must have been pretty bad.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to mention, one of my favorite actors, Matt Smith, is in this for about 2 minutes total. As the like future Skynet personified, I guess.
Yeah, they make Skynet a guy, which in the intro and stuff, which is weird, but yeah, that's just like, Matt Smith signing on, hoping that this is a good thing and he can like be a major character in the sequel, I guess.
Yeah, and they're like, "You're a time travel guy. You played Doctor Who before, so you can explain the time travel bullshit in this movie, right?"
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, because he shows up there as a physical, Skynet thing, and then he's also like the Skynet hologram at one point, and at the end of the movie when they're in the Skynet headquarters.
At the end of the movie, he just pops in and starts being like, "You shouldn't do this. You can't do this. You can't defeat me." Yeah. And then like they just blow up the building he's like being projected from, and he just disappears. And it's like the least good possible presence for you as an actor is just like you pop in like in a way that nobody will like notice or care about.
Yeah, you pop in as a CGI hologram that's barely even like recognizable as you, probably not even filmed at the same time or any of that, and it's just you're expected to give any kind of performance as like a robot that anyone cares about, and but I don't know. Did you see the post-credit scene of this? There's a bit after.
No, I didn't. Fuck, I forgot to watch it.
Yeah, it's just
What is the bit?
it's the broken down building, but it zooms in and there's like a Skynet core or something. It's like a big red orb in the basement, and then the hologram appears in front of that. So,
jeez.
Yeah, I guess
like this movie is just screaming, we desperately want to make more movies out of this.
Oh yeah,
it's in a really weird way, because you mentioned before that like it kind of wraps everything up by the end, quote unquote. They definitely like introduce elements here and there that like they're playing with a wider range of timelines now or something, but like it does not do a good job of selling these as the main characters, this as the new situation that they're in, Genesis as a concept. Like, why is this even called Genesis? And then just like Matt Smith is like the Skynet robot that is apparently like puppeteering things. Like it just does not come across in a interesting way.
Yeah, I feel like there's at least a couple threads that they leave that are kind of interesting. Like, Pops, that's old Arnold. He's they don't explain where he came from. They sort of leave that up to any future sequels if they want to explain who sent him back. But yeah, if that's interesting, I guess. I don't know.
Well, my question is, did Matt Smith send him back in order to create a new timeline, essentially? Like,
that's possible.
Because like it's the kind of thing where it's like a timeline can get so messy when you like keep sending Terminators back to earlier points or whatever to like completely change the main timeline. So in order to completely like get around that, he has a good Arnie go back, raise Sarah Connor from earlier in her life, and then create a new timeline based on that. I don't know. I have no idea.
I guess so. I don't see that doesn't seem like a very effective strategy, right? Because you're basically just training her and making her aware of all of this stuff early, but I don't know. I guess, maybe it works out. Maybe that's part of his machination so that he arrives in 2017 instead of the 90s or whatever.
You just need a new set of circumstances, essentially. Like, if the characters that are reshaping history are Sarah Connor, John Connor, and Kyle Reese, you take the earliest person in that and then change her life so completely that everything after that has to be so different. Like,
I guess so, yeah. But yeah, it's what do you think though of John Connor in this, played by Jason Clarke?
So Jason Clarke is so funny to me because I apologize to him ahead of time. He is a very ugly looking man to me. He looks like his head is Play-Doh that has been shaped into the vague shape of the leading man.
I can feel a little bit, yeah.
I think that like he works as kind of a dirtbag John Connor who has been like fighting this war, but then has to be able to play a Terminator evil version of that. So I think because he excels at being a dirtbag kind of guy, when he does the villain turn, I kind of buy that he's a villainous figure. But then it just seems like he's kind of just like the turn of that comes like at the midpoint of the movie, and I just feel like there's not enough of the movie with him as that role to really like cement in my mind like, yeah, this is who he's playing, or this is what the deal with this is. Yeah,
I forgot how that twist was kind of played. It's actually, I think, pretty decent. It was spoiled in all the marketing.
Yeah, it's well
stuff,
done. They spoiled it in the trailers because they didn't have anything else to sell the movie on, basically.
Yeah, they could have sold it all in that first act. Just say it's just imply that the liquid metal one's the main bad guy or something. I think that could have been interesting. But yeah. I think it's a decent twist, like in concept, like, oh, it's sort of like even like a first idea sort of thing. Like, oh, what if John Connor is the Terminator this time? But if you do that right, if you make it into something interesting, if you play off of the dynamics with these characters, I think it could have worked really well. But like, I don't think, I think the main thing is just Sarah Connor like barely knows him, like she there's like some bits where she looks up at him and she's like, oh, that's you, that's my son, but it's like she doesn't know who he is. She never met him at all, and it's he like repeats a couple like random mantras that she recited to him and stuff, but I feel like it would have hit so much harder if it was like, oh, this is Linda Hamilton and like Edward Furlong was the evil Terminator now or something, like just any other version of these characters, or I guess specifically that version of those characters would have been, it just would have,
play better.
As a sequel, it would have just hit better. And I
think so. Like, I'm all for recasting, generally speaking, just because I feel like characters can overcome the actors or the the version of them that you have in their heads. Like, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I've never had a problem thinking like Alec Guinness is also Ewan McGregor, and as Ewan McGregor gets older, that he's also Obi-Wan, even though he doesn't look like Alec Guinness totally. And in this movie, it kind of puts the lie to my essential belief, because I don't buy any of these actors really as as slightly different looking versions of the same characters. I think they're just miscast for the most part. So I guess that's the kind of key point that I'm looking for, is that like you have to cast well. I mean, you can't just cast anyone in the role of these legacy characters. You have to really do a good job of narrowing down what those original actors brought to it, and then find somebody who can embody that. And these guys don't.
Yeah, with the whole recasting thing, just in general, I've always been kind of weirded out by that. Like, I don't understand why, for especially for the Lucasfilm stuff, for Indiana Jones and Star Wars, like, they're unwilling to recast like Indiana Jones or Luke Skywalker or really anyone else, I guess, anymore. Like, like you said, they do it in
Harrison Ford.
But
They tried with Solo.
I guess so,
and that didn't do well.
That's not because he was bad in it. He was pretty good.
I know.
That's because they released it like was that like a month after Infinity War or something? That was a terrible idea.
Yeah, it was very close behind Infinity War, and it was also
and
only a couple months after
and stuff.
Last Jedi, people were still upset from that movie. So,
yeah. I don't know, why did they move that away from like a holiday release? Was that like Avatar was supposed to come out that year or something, or?
That was
2019? I don't know.
I think
2018
Avatar came out way later than that.
Well, yeah, but Avatar had like release dates anywhere between like 2013 up to like
right, for about 5 years.
Yeah, and I assume that's going to be the case for all the sequels too, honestly. But we'll see. But yeah,
these are movies that are entirely animated, basically.
Yeah, but they have to film them first as well, so it's like you're getting so much more time on these damn movies. I've heard the second one's better. I just remember
the second one is definitely better. Okay. I don't blame you for hating the first one. I certainly don't hate it, but I don't understand why people were jerking themselves off over it.
Yeah, that's just the fact that that's like the highest ever movie. That's like the best movie. That's like the number one movie ever. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, it kind of pisses me off. The number one movie of all time that changed history, changed cinema forever. Oh,
yeah, God. It put 3D glasses back in for 5 years, and then they took them back out again. It's like lasting legacy in my mind. But yeah, but Terminator, I think, this movie, there was a small appearance of what was his name? I wrote his name down. It's the Dyson kid. Danny Dyson is here.
Yeah.
Which is fun. Apparently,
is it the actor from the second one?
No, it's not. I looked that up. It's a different kid.
Oh,
but, yeah, they I felt like, oh, there's like an older black guy next to him, right? And I was thinking like, oh, is that his dad, or am I being racist? But no, that's supposed to be Miles Dyson as well. But yeah, that's it's weird that he's in there for like a minute, but he's not really, like, he doesn't factor in, because that character has the potential to be like, the fourth Terminator character, right? Like any Dyson related person, I think, because that's
what they should do. The all black Terminator reboot, where it's Terry Crews hunting down Danny Dyson, so he does it. Or wait,
or Miles Dyson, or
would his son dying make Miles Dyson not create Skynet?
Ooh, if it's like a Terminator who's sent back to kill his son to like convince him not to do it or something.
Yeah, that, and that's the good guy Terminator, is like being sent back to kill like the Dyson kid.
That'd be pretty good. That'd be a good twist on it. Yeah.
We've done it. We've cracked it.
It's a new Terminator storyline, kinda. It's new enough. Put it in production, yeah. But it's kind of fun. That's like another connection, really, because the rest of this isn't really connected at all to the other stuff outside of that intro.
It's so weird. This movie is so weirdly constructed, because like you've got the recreation stuff in the first third, let's say, of the movie, where it's like we're setting it in the same place as the first movie and we're recreating scenes, and like we're also throwing a Terminator 2 like bad guy in, essentially, and they kind of like play with that a little bit, and then they go up to the future.
Yeah, they go to 2017.
Where do they get the time machine from?
Oh, they were just building it in the basement of that one building they went to.
Pops was?
Yeah, Pops was, I guess.
How do you get time travel technology in the 80s?
Well, they say they had everything else they needed, and then they needed the Terminator chip from the young one, from young Arnold.
Oh my god!
You can build everything else,
right.
you know, in the 80s, and with a bunch of with a box of scraps, you know. But
yeah, right.
yeah, they sort of gloss over that, you know. It's just, oh, we need to have the 80s nostalgia stuff, but also it needs to take place in 2017 so we can have the commentary about how everyone's on their damn phones these days, you know. That needs to be in there.
So we get to 2017 and we know that Genesis is a thing that they have to worry about. And do they tell you ever what Genesis actually is?
They say it connects your phone to your car, to your house, to your TV, you know.
That is not like impressive. Even if it was like 5 years before, when this, like, even in 2012, that was like technology that was going to exist. Like,
well, it's like an all-in-one operating system, you know. It can do anything. And that's really impressive to someone who doesn't know that Android powers like all these things anyway. So I don't know. Genesis is like the box. They show boxes of Genesis. I don't know what's in that fucking box. It's like a big box, like a game console sized box. But it has like the Samsung font on it for Genesis. I don't know why Genesis is spelt like that. Is it like was there like an in-universe like court case with Sega? Or
there's several levels of this, because it's like, okay, you've named your in-movie product Genesis, whatever, fine. You've then made that the entire like point of this movie somehow, even though it doesn't like, I don't know why that would like affect anything else in the future of the series. And then you name your movie after that as well.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's so many levels of bullshit to that.
Genesis is, you know, that's creation. I guess this is a rebirth of the Terminator franchise. You know? Is there a Star Trek movie called Genesis or something? Or is that mentioned in one of them?
Nemesis?
That might be what I'm thinking of, yeah.
There's the Genesis, oh god. There is something called Genesis something.
I remember a clip of some old guy going, Genesis, you know? I remember that. I don't remember what that means. But I don't know. It's a sci-fi thing, right? It's got to be, you got to have a Genesis in your sci-fi thing. Someday we'll get Alien Genesis, you know? It'll be great.
Sure.
Yeah. That could be Ridley Scott's next Alien Genesis, because it's biblical and stuff.
Yeah, and it's what's his name? It's
actually fit better there probably than this.
It's David creating the aliens.
Exactly, yeah. I hope we get that movie. There's been rumblings that he's coming back to the series to like direct another thing, and I hope that's true.
I hope so too. We need him after Gladiator 2. Yeah,
well, apparently he's also written like Gladiator 3 already and stuff too, so like who knows, he might. I don't know how many more movies he has in him. He's getting up there too, but I hope he's around forever.
Yet he still makes like 10 movies every fucking 5 years.
Yeah, and they're like 50-50 honestly, but they've always kind of been kind of 50-50, so
But there's plenty of directors who only make like one movie every 10 years, and
there's like I mean, I guess Steven Spielberg was doing that for a little bit. He was releasing like BF or BIG, not BFG, or is
BFG.
it? No, it is BFG. Yeah,
it is BFG. Yeah.
Not Big Fucking Gun. It's a Big Friendly Giant. Yeah, but it's
Big Fucking Gun.
Yeah, from Doom. You know, it's that Steven Spielberg's Doom movie. But
oh man,
yeah. But yeah, it is, you know, most of these directors have kind of retired, and even just I guess like the old kind of new Hollywood people from 50, 60 years ago now. Like George Lucas is pretty much done. I guess Martin Scorsese is doing stuff. I don't know if these are actually new Hollywood
Scorsese still makes movies often enough. Yeah, until Megalopolis, Francis Ford Coppola hadn't made anything for a while.
That's true, yeah. Hopefully he's back. I hope he makes something else. We get to see something else from him, but I don't know. Yeah, you know, it's this is we're kind of going off the rails, I guess, a little bit. But Terminator, right? What's your favorite kind of Terminator?
It's got to be liquid metal, right? Like it's got to be
the T-1000. I guess so. Yeah, because that's
like, as cool as the metal exoskeleton of the T800.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
Or
as cool as that
800's
Arnold
the
Terminator
original one,
is,
yeah.
you can just do everything as the liquid metal one, and his hands turn into fucking blades.
That's true,
That's
yeah.
the coolest thing that's ever existed. Like,
But for the liquid metal ones, though, what's cooler, the T-1000 or the T-1 from the Universal Studios like attraction?
T-1000. I don't even deign to
That
grant the
was
T-1
that was James Cameron. It's official. It's real canon.
Yeah.
That's the most
Yeah.
Terminator 3 we've ever gotten, really. The T-1
I've heard way more about the T-1 than I've ever seen the T-1.
It's just a big globby thing, I think. I don't remember. Yeah, but I don't know. This one has
What
its
about
own new
yours?
Terminator. I want to say I like the T-5000, which is what Matt Smith is, but I really don't. That's like nothing. So it's
doesn't really
probably
have a
just the
design to
T-1000.
him.
Yeah, well, he's just Matt Smith. I guess we would have seen what he
Yeah.
does in Genesis Part 3 or something, but yeah,
Mhm.
that's not the world we live in.
No, not at all. And
No.
it's a better timeline for it, even
Yeah.
though it includes Dark Fate. But what do you think about the John Connor Terminator from this, where he's like got layers of nanobots or
Nanomachines?
something?
It's kind of neat in concept. I think it's kind of a neat visual when he reforms himself in layers behind Arnold and whatever.
Mhm.
It's like that.
And I like when they're using the MRI machine as a magnet to like
Yeah.
make him stick to it.
Well,
And then like he's like coming away from it, and there's like bits of him that are like left behind as he steps further away.
yeah, that's like cool stuff visually, but also it's like that is like clearly just a downgrade, right, from like the liquid metal one.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so is like the one from 3 where it's like liquid metal over a robot and whatever, and so is I think
Yeah,
Rev
Dark
9 is
Fate has
also
the same
that
basic
like,
thing. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so like I
It's
don't
just like, yeah, bits of the nanobots can form their own other Terminator. It's like, I don't care. I actually do
Yeah.
not give a shit about this.
those things they're cooler like visuals. There's more potential for action scenes if one Terminator can like turn into 2 Terminators, I guess. But like it's just not as useful, right? Like it's not as good as like an infiltration thing. It's not as good for anything, honestly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know why they bother. I don't know why they don't just keep sending T-1000s. Also, how much time did Skynet have here where they because in the first one, right, it's implied that they like in their last dying gasp they sent the one Terminator all the way back to kill Sarah, right? And then in T2 it also sent back the liquid metal one, and then like they get the chance to send back their own good Terminator, and then by T3 they're sending back like 3 Terminators before Skynet's dead, and then like there's so much time. I guess Skynet's just sending these things back. Maybe they've
would say
just
it's
been doing
got
it forever.
They've got an assembly line right next to the time machine, and they just keep sending them through.
They do literally, yeah. They're all hanging up there on the assembly line, and they drag them out and put them on the platform.
Next one in. Next one in. Next one in.
That's the perfect visual, really. That's just how they're making these movies. just next one. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's I kind of like the time travel room. It's a big portal, in a
Yeah.
it's it's just a big metal room with a lot of divots in it and stuff. That's fine. It's fun.
Yeah, I think it's an alright looking set.
Yeah,
That they're time travel room.
Mm-hmm.
So and then J.K. I was gonna say J.K. Rowling. J.K. Simmons enters this as like a alcoholic cop or something.
He's the cop from the intro who's all disturbed from the, because he saw them fighting the T-1000 and whatever, right? And then he got away, and then he's been telling people for like 40 years or something, and then these people show back up. Yeah. So I think he's fun, J.K. Simmons is a good actor. He's playing a different sort of character than I've ever seen him play before. Like he's like a very old like subordinate to a much younger cop in this and stuff, which is kind of weird because he's always been in charge in like every other role, right? He's leading the Bugle, he's leading Aperture Science or whatever, But it's weird to see him play someone who's being commanded by someone else, I guess. But yeah. He helps them escape, he helps them he was gonna come. No, John Connor was going to come and help them get out of their handcuffs, but he helps them get all their weapons back and their bombs and whatever at the end of the movie. there's a great bit where he goes to like rescue Sarah, and he kind of tries to ask her for an explanation, and she's like, "Well, we're here to save the world," and he's like, "Okay, that's good enough for me.
That's enough." Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll let you go now. There's a couple like fun little moments like that, little fun Terminator like one-liners and bits. Like when Arnold flies through the cop car.
Is it fun though? Is it really fun?
It knows that the other movies had bits like this that were fun or became iconic, so they want to sneak a couple in there. Arnold's like, "Nice to see you, get out," and the cop gets out of the car right after he crashes into it. It's a classic Arnold one-liner. You gotta have that in your Terminator movie. Just like when he goes, is it talk to the hand? He goes in the third one or something. I don't remember.
Maybe.
Yeah. Does he have a one-liner in Salvation, or is he not in that enough?
I don't think he says anything in Salvation. I feel like they just got the like permission to use his face in that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. A lot of this it is very much like we got to check off this box,
right. We've got the list
sequel.
of things that need to happen in a Terminator movie, and you're just going to see them all.
Yeah, and they do put them all. I do think this is probably the most Terminator you get for your, most Terminator for your money of any Terminator film, because there's a lot of them in there. There's like, there's at least 4 of them, I guess, which, most of the other ones sort of.
You judge a Terminator movie by volume. It's like, if you give me enough Terminators in a movie, I am not going to complain about how.
Yeah, sure.
How it's done.
Why not? That's Terminator wanted 1, T2 had 2, and that's why it's better. That's just how it works.
Yeah, right. That's just how it works. The more you have, the better.
I think in Terminator 3 they had the T100 or something, which is just like a mounted turret show up for a minute, like a RoboCop looking thing. Not like RoboCop, but like the things in RoboCop at 209. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just what they've been doing. There's got to be more Terminators, and Dark Fate ruined that by having. I guess Dark Fate has 3, because one of them's a cyborg and one of them's 2 robots, kinda. So
we should see the Terminator evolution, where it's like starts as a turret, then becomes like a little 2-legged thing, and then like a man without a head, and then with like a gun for a head, and then
absolutely, they could do that. That should be what they do for like sequels and stuff, right? It should just be like John Connor going through and like every time Skynet like restarts and they start building like their little shitty turrets and whatever, John Connor has to go in alone and just fight those off.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be fun.
I don't know. And like I think I'll have to give that Terminator Netflix show a try just to see what they're doing with an animated version of it.
Yeah, that seems more, because that's all future war stuff too, right? That seems more interesting, at least. Like, they're attempting to do something else with it again. But yeah,
I don't know what would you do with a Terminator, and you can't use the.
I can't say Old West.
Oh, you could say Old West.
Okay.
Old West would be fine.
I don't know.
The whole town has to team up to take down Terminator.
I think for all 3 of these like old series, for Alien, Terminator, and Predator, I think put them on a pirate ship, put them in the Old West, just go kind of schlocky with it and do something fun with them, where they're in some random like classic movie situation that gets like interrupted,
Mm-hmm.
That's a fun thing.
They should do a time before phone books, and he's killing like a bunch of Connors that have no actual relationship to. He should kill Roseanne.
Roseanne?
Because
like Roseanne Barr.
Because what wasn't her character's last name Connor?
I have no idea. I don't know what that is even. Roseanne. I think was Roseanne the show Roseanne that she's on?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is that the one that Trump hates? Is that
Connor.
Rosie O'Donnell? I don't remember.
Well, Rosie O'Donnell is anti-Trump, and Roseanne Barr is pro-Trump.
Okay. I got these people mixed up, honestly. I'm the wrong person to be asking about this, I guess. But yeah.
Yep, her last name is Connor.
Okay.
Roseanne Connor.
Sure.
And then I would like to know. Yeah. They should come after the Connors.
Sure. Why not? Actually, did you see I don't know why I'm asking, even if you saw this, you didn't. But there was Terminator Genisys, the YouTube Chronicles was a thing for this movie. They partnered up with Machinima and a bunch of like random YouTubers. Like Tobuscus is a liquid metal Terminator in it.
Oh my god!
It's and Arnold shows up. Arnold is on there in maybe like 3 shots of the whole thing. Yeah, he's in there. He looks like old pops in this movie and stuff, right? But he's
oh my god.
Yeah, and they don't really have any action. It's just sort of some YouTubers doing like a bad skit, but there's a Terminator chasing them.
Holy shit!
It's Tobuscus Terminator.
Do you think this is worth watching?
No, it was a harder sit than the fucking movie was, and it's like 15 minutes.
No.
So
no,
it was really bad. It was awful. But
man,
it was a. I guess it's fun that it exists. I guess I don't know. I feel like there are. Have you seen like Corridor Digital do like their recreation of like classic T2 effects and stuff?
No, I don't think I have.
Okay, because their whole thing is they do the CGI, they look at like all the classic CG and they sometimes try to recreate it and stuff. And they did like they've done Abyss, they've done the like stained glass guy from that Sherlock thing or whatever, because that's like a landmark CG moment. But they've tried to recreate. Yeah, they've tried to recreate the liquid metal Terminator once practically with like gallium, and once with CG. And those are, I feel like if you were to give any like YouTube crew like a fucking Terminator like promotional mini series or whatever, you'd want to do someone like them at the very least who like wants to do a fun CG
give them some
thing.
Work.
Yeah. But they gave it to like Tobuscus, who's known for yelling at Happy Wheels and Nugget and a Biscuit and stuff. And it did not work. It wasn't any good. Matthew Santoro shows up for a minute. He's the guy who does top 50 whatever. He does top 50 fun facts or something. I don't know. It was a truly awful little show, and I'm upset that I watched it. So
you feel bad for yourself. I do. To yourself though.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think of the social commentary in Terminator Genisys, where they talk about everyone? They talk about
what do they talk about? What
they say at one point, everyone's on their phones. They've invited Skynet into their pockets, and everyone's on their phones these days.
Yeah, it very much seems like that's even 10 years behind. Maybe not 10 years, maybe 5 years behind what would have been the commentary in 2015, right?
Yeah.
Like,
well,
surely we were away from that whole bullshit. Everyone's always on their phones.
Someone was told that there was commentary of some sort in one of the Terminator movies before, so they have to put they have to do some tech commentary and stuff here, on the state of the world. That's why it's an app or an operating system or whatever it is, It's just, the world's been changing, the future's changed, and now we have Skynet in our pockets. Everyone's pre-ordered Genisys. 1 billion people have pre-ordered Genisys, and it's going to end the world.
Yeah,
whatever that is.
Would you pre-order Genisys, Colonel?
I think I'd want to know what it is, honestly, but maybe I would. Maybe I just, if 1 billion people have pre-ordered it, must be something cool in there, in that box. There must be. This is the third best Terminator movie, I think. This is the third best one. This is what it's about. Man. Yeah. I had a weird experience because I was, I watched this and then I went and I watched some like Red Letter Media videos, right? But like earlier in the day, I was looking at Jurassic World related news, right? And at one point in my head, I thought to myself like, that's Claire Danes was in Jurassic World, right? But no, the character is named Claire Dearing, and Claire Danes is the actor from the Terminator.
Claire Danes is in Terminator 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then, so I got those confused. But then I watched this Red Letter Media review of Terminator Dark Fate, and they make that. Yeah. They have that in there as a joke that Mr. Plinkett forgets that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
oh my god.
I had like a fucking crisis for a minute. Like, am I even like a real person? Am I am I like part of like a biological Skynet where we just repeat things that other people have said online and stuff, you know? Am I even like, do I have original thoughts at all?
No, you're just the regurgitated leavings of everything that you've seen online.
Probably.
Sorry to admit.
I guess. Yeah. That's just you know, that's what happens.
It's unfortunate, but that's the world we're living in.
Yeah. Sometimes I think about stuff like that. Like, oh, if I were put in a situation where I had to kill someone, like how would I react, right? And I think like, oh, I would say sorry and then I'd shoot them, right? And that's like, oh, but that's like a thing that people do in movies. Is that like what is that how I'd be? Do I act like a movie? Does like the way that I am as a person, is it just informed by
what
like movies I've seen?
You?
I don't know. I want to hope I'm Megalopolis, but I'm probably like Joe's apartment or something. I don't know.
Yeah. What I'm trying to think what shit. The thing that she says to him entitles me. Yes.
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 I think you're entitled to plumb the depths of my Emerson.
Plow the depths of my Emerson mind. Yes. Yeah, that's what you think you are.
Yeah. I hope so, but I know I'm not. You know, I'm a fraud. Mm-hmm. That's just a red letter media bit, you know, that we're frauds. That's just
act
just
fraud.
Right
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's
fine.
You
just embrace the hack fraud.
It's true. You do. You have to.
Identity. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just become the best hack fraud you can be.
Absolutely. What else should we say about Terminator Genisys?
Not a very good movie. What would you rate this out of 5 stars?
Oh, I gave it a 2.5, split down the middle, mostly just because I like the silly action at the start of the thing. But yeah.
So that was my original rating for it when I saw it in 2015. I have now lowered it to 1.5 stars.
That's probably
just
fair,
because I feel like in the past couple of years I've seen what kind of movies have been made, and I feel like this is a real bellwether for the worst kind of bullshit.
Oh yeah, it's
unfortunately
this and Force Awakens, I think, really. And Force Awakens, I think, is a much better crafted movie with a lot more potential.
Force Awakens is a perfectly good movie. I don't like it as a Star Wars movie at all.
If they made one Force Awakens and then the rest of it was just really cool and people didn't get like pissed off the moment they deviated at all, you know, it could have been fine. But you know, then they tried something, but they didn't do it very well, and a lot of people got very upset. And then they made Rise of Skywalker, whatever's going on there. I don't remember any of that one. And I don't think I want to rewatch it either. So yeah. Are they still doing Star Wars? Is there new Star Wars stuff coming up?
They have a Mandalorian and Grogu movie coming out not next year, the year after. They were supposed to have a Rey movie out by the end of that year, but that is not going to happen now. They just canceled that release date. So
are they? Part of me even wonders why they're doing that at all, because I feel like everyone's just not going to want to see that.
Because, like, from what I gather from what has been said, they've kind of burned through all of the nostalgia that people have for parts of Star Wars, and now they're hoping that people have nostalgia for Rey in 2015.
Oh my god!
Since we're almost 10 years away from
that's
The
true.
Force Awakens.
It has been 10 fucking years. Oh no!
So if you were an 8-year-old who saw The Force Awakens, they would now be 18 next year.
Now you can buy your own ticket and take your kid.
And I was gonna say, by the time they have kids, they will probably have figured that movie out, and they will get to take their little kids to see the Rey New Jedi Order movie. Yeah. So
are you ready to see like the sequel revisionist people come in and fight with the prequel revisionist people over which of their like crappy like new Star Wars thing is better or whatever?
It's just going to be endless. It's just going to be endless waves of these people. That's just
forever.
That's just the future.
Yeah, people are gonna be like, oh, I fucking love Ahsoka, the Ahsoka show, because that's what I grew up with, and it's like, oh my god,
that will be the moment I can't possibly.
Yeah,
like all the Filoni stuff is just very, very poorly done.
I don't like any of it. I don't know. I can't. There's like a Star Wars for me. There's like maybe 2.5 Star Wars movies that I really like, and they're way older than I am and stuff. So it's like I don't think I'm ever gonna get anything out of any of that stuff ever again. I think it's just over. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe they'll bring it back. Maybe just like Terminator, they'll have a great Genesis or something. They'll figure it out. They'll make something great again. But it just seems unlikely. It just seems like it's stuck. Yeah.
I've already made my peace with it. It's not to be.
Yeah. At least that Prey movie was good, The Predator series is doing okay.
Dan Trachtenberg made a really good movie, and he's now going to make another Predator movie. So I'm interested to see what he does with that.
And I'm just waiting to see, the executive said you got to put Dutch in it from the first one. So Arnold's back. He's 80 years old, and he's back in the new Predator.
It's supposed to be a future movie.
That's fine.
And according to him, the main character is the Predator. So
okay. That does sound like something that's actually could be fun and interesting. So yeah, hopefully that's good. But yeah, do you have anything you'd like to plug to end off our episode?
Yeah, you can find me on not Twitter, not X, none of those things anymore.
Not the Everything app?
No. Blue Sky at revan13.social.bsky, I think is what it is. I'd have to look
believe
it up
so.
To be sure.
I got it it's in the description of the last one. I'll copy paste it from there.
Yeah, it should be
for the thing. Yeah. But yeah, and thank you very much for watching. Thank you for joining me on Terminator.
If any of you watched Terminator Genisys for this episode, I feel bad for you.
I don't know if anyone's even going to watch this episode, let alone watch the movie for it, so, but who knows? We'll see.
Oh my god.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.